decency. I know you weren't raised right, but not even common decency. It's household rules, stuff like that. You tell Cindy to do the dishes and everything like that. She says she does, she will, and the stuff like that. So you know that the dishes should be done.
I don't know how they're supposed to be done.
Oh, now suddenly we're saying, I don't know how they're supposed to be done. You can ask people. Nope, sit down, Jack. Jack, sit down. Come back here.
You're just here to yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm literally criticizing you.
This was painful to sit through. Good everyone! With today being a slow Sunday, I want to find some more drama that I could potentially cover, which is when I came across this confrontation between the hated figure, Birdie, and the friend, Queen. I was acutely aware of the situation with Cindy Bear, but I don't fully get the grasp of the multi-year long drama. However, I did want to watch it because it was apparently a bizarrely weird confrontation. It's like one of those things where you expect the person trying to help the other one to be the good one, but in this situation, Queen was handling it in a bit of a messy way, if I have to be honest. This video was quite long, so I'll be uploading part 2 later today. Don't expect super smart takes, because I just want you to simply watch this bizarre interaction. Okay, so I'll start playing the video by itself, right, for a few minutes, but then, you know, for the sake of pacing, or, you know, for my own sanity, I'll play a game in the background after, because, you know, this is mainly like a one still image, with the main key part being the audio. But shout out to actually the artist for this. This is nice. But yeah, again, you know, I'm gonna watch some of this and I give my, you know, my mid take of it, because I don't know these people, I don't know the full story, but from a short snippet of it, right, it seems that both of them are pretty crazy, and one's not, you know, in a level to criticize the other. I feel like. Let me play it real quick. Wow.
Hi, it's me.
From what I can tell, it seems like she had like a body cam on, or like she was sticking a phone in a pocket to record all of this, whatever. Oh, that's what. Stick around for the end and part 2, because I read the comment she made after Queen. So hopefully the person confronting them is Queen, right? And you know, like they're the one speaking for the majority. Now I'll read their the summary at the end, whatever.
Hey Jack, could we possibly talk out here?
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of things to say. I'm sorry for surprising you like this, but I do have a lot of things to say.
Sorry.
You're good. You want to turn the light on in here?
Alright.
So I'm going to talk to you about a lot of things. This is going to be a very serious discussion because I wanted to talk to you in person. I wanted to talk to you about everything that's been going on here. Excuse my voice, but my voice is very
Oh, that's all on. Pause a second.
It's okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Speaking about the don't worry about it.
They go into it right being like, you know, I want to talk about everything, and it's like an hour and a half of like their biggest grievance against Birdie. And bro, Queen, they really get into it.
So much about don't worry about it.
Like I don't know the full story, but like, you know, it seemed like initially it seemed like they came in good faith, you know, to criticize Birdie. But the more I watched, I was like, oh, it feels like they're vindictive. Like they really want to vent against Birdie because they really hate them.
You complained to other people, even to us, about things like that. And then speaking of that, you've been guilt tripping us for a lot of things. You say that we bit off more than we can chew. Of course we did. And then, so that's why you should get professional help, which you said you finally get a therapist. Why didn't you think of getting a therapist all after the suicidal attempts? You've been trying to get suicidal attempts multiple times, twice within me.
I didn't want it.
Sure, I have no idea about this person, but yeah, they seem in a very bad mental state. Birdie, I mean.
Therapist before? I've been trying to look for one for like a year.
You have the money, you can do this. You also told me that during that one suicidal attempt with Squirt, you told me that it was only just going to prevent the inevitable. Anyway, speaking about the mask, like you tell us that you're masking a lot. That means you hide things from us a lot too. You tell us that we hide things from you. You hide things from us as well. How are we supposed to tell that if you're okay or not okay, you know? And then I have an entire thing written down, so I know I can just keep myself on track.
You're good.
And then you also...
that's what... Okay, if my first point I have to pause on real quick and call them out on is that they seem to like handle this in the not best way, like not the best way possible at all. I feel like when you have like a grievance as a friend, right, you would like send all the problems on the phone, right, you know, like give like a long piece of text. But it seems like, I mean, they might have done that before, but now, you know, the big confrontational conversation is all being in person. And that's an issue, right? Because this person, Queen, they really ramble on non-stop.
Make people.
And she brought like a whole list of everything, you know, she has against Birdie. And that's fine, whatever. But like, you know, if you're gonna talk one-to-one, face-to-face, bring like your top 5 issues that you want to fix with Birdie, you know, and criticize them on. Because you see in a second, right, that most of the issues are just, you know, trivial, I feel like.
Uncomfortable as well. With me and the My Little Pony thing,
So I heard My Little Pony, I was like, oh my, I don't want to cover that again. It's fucking non-stop that shit every goddamn time.
I know you did not know I was uncomfortable by it, but you told me that you get annoyed at people whenever they're annoyed at gore or anything like that because that was your childhood or something like that. I don't like seeing gore at all, and I didn't want to tell you because I was trying to keep you happy. Of course I was going to not do that. That's what it is. You tell me to be honest, and then you don't be honest yourself for those kinds of things because there's more later. And then you also rely heavily on us. There's a lot. Oh Jesus, there's so much that jumps around.
Is that like they had like the list on the phone and like they brought way too much for like even themselves, you know, to fully understand?
Even found your behavior weird.
Oh, that's well. They censor people's names or whatever with like a really annoying sound, like a TV glitch effect. Go back.
Let's talk about this part. Like, even found your behavior weird.
Like, that's fine, whatever, but like, you know, the more you hear it, it'll be really grating on your ear.
Because you there and back with, and I had to take him a while spending a crap ton on gas while you just hid in. I had to take you back spending a crap ton on gas while you still hid in the guest room. And then the glorification of your self scars, and you carved his name in your arm. That's not great. You know this.
I can't like take it out.
Even then, the fact that you still did that, even if you can't take it out and stuff like that, I know it's still before you guys met you, but the fact that you did all these things, I don't
want to trivialize, you know, these really bad issues by playing a dumb fucking game like this in the meantime. But like, you know, I'm treating this fully seriously, right? I'm not gonna laugh at any of them. I'll laugh at some parts, but you know, I'll explain why. Because some sections in this are just insane, in my opinion.
Recently, so that how is there going to be change? Because there's not been change. You've been saying that there's change there. There's not change with how I'm going to keep going on. And then you say that you want Cinny dead. You panicked out when I showed you the screenshots of Cinny saying, "I want him dead. I want him to die. He's doing things to him." And then you say the exact same thing back. That's just hypocrisy. And I will get more on that.
Oh sure.
Later.
Pause.
And then more about.
Wait, okay, so I know somewhat of Cindy, right? But like, was there like a 2 points going on where Cindy wanted a Birdie dead and, you know, vice versa? Jesus Christ.
Excuses.
The most I know about that is that, you know, Birdie was accusing them of some really fucked up shit.
You say...
But it looks both bad ways, you know, if they're both, you know, like wishing fucking awful things on them. It's not a very good image.
You excuse Potts for a lot of things. I understand you can't do it, but has Potts too. He manages it. You don't try to manage it. You have 10K. You can keep that manageable. It's manageable. You know this. You research on a lot of things. You research about bipolar.
Shut up. If there's one part like, I feel like they really hop on is the Potts. Like I feel like Birdie, I'm not sure like how many times. Oh, that's what Birdie does not bring up. You know, Birdie barely talks. You know, for this first section. Let me show it. Around this part, I think, you know, they actually step in to respond to what Queen's saying. But for the first part, right, you know, I don't think they really bring up the parts that much. But Queen is like, you know, saying, you know, oh, you blame your parts on everything. This very serious disease or a condition just fucks you over. They might bring it up later, but like for now, you know, they really hop on this thing that apparently they blame on everything for. Let me play back.
Disorder, and then. There's just so much about things that you can research and you just don't want to. That's about the driving as well. You have me read you out driving when you can literally just research it yourself. You need to have the want to do it. It's your mindset that prevents you from doing things. You can do it. I know you can do it.
And to be fair, Queen sounds somewhat decent in this, you know. Like it sounds like this would be something I'll be saying to my friend, right? Like if they seem to be like going down a bad road, I'd be like, hey man, you know, do this and this and this to be better. But you'll see in a second, right, how it goes, you know, even worse downhill from here.
This is both a very like go-getting compliment and also annoyance compliment. That's both an annoyance and a I believe in you kind of thing. I know you can do it. And then you also use your BPT to insult us, and then also trying to kill yourself. Like you use that to explain why you do all these things when it's not just that. When all you give all.
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry, but like nothing against Queen. Actually, a lot against them, whatever. But like, they don't have like they brought a list of all the biggest grievances against Birdie, and that's fine, whatever. But like, if you want like a real productive conversation, make it like your top 5 all in order, of like worst, to least mine or whatever. Because she brings all this like this and this, but like out of nowhere she brings like the real they bring like the real big issue out of nowhere. Like there's one part where they talk about child porn on Kiwi Farms, whatever, and it came out like completely left field. It fucking shocked me.
All those reasonings for why you want to kill yourself, and yet you're okay. One moment you're fine, the next you're not, which mood swings and stuff like that, yes, but you don't keep that managed. You say, like, you don't take things seriously. How can we take you seriously as well? We have to try taking you seriously, so we're taking you seriously all the time. Well, you told me you don't take suicide seriously.
And again, like, their tone of voice like sounds like a very catty. Yeah, I think catty, where they want to be good faith, towards them, but like they really dislike Birdie, and they want to vent to them about all of like the biggest shit against them.
Speaking of your hypocrisy, you say that Cindy's not clean. You're not clean as well. Lauren has to clean up a lot of your stuff.
She didn't tell me that.
Your plates, you leave your plates in there, and she has to clean that.
Oh, okay. Like if there's one interesting part, is this section about their unclean home, unclean kitchen.
Even then, speaking of the plates at home,
I said that to me. What? I didn't. I wouldn't have known. I can't read people's minds. I'm not mad at her. It's just like I didn't know. So.
Common decency. I know you weren't raised right.
Common decency?
Not even common decency. It's household rules, stuff like that. You tell Cindy to do.
I do know like them, Birdie and Cindy, lived in the same house. Like their response to this is just wild.
Do the dishes and everything like that.
I don't know the full story behind this, but like if you want to hook me into a story, bring up like a very piggish person where they barely clean up, then I'll be hooked.
She says she does, she will, and stuff like that. So you know that the dishes should be done.
I don't know how they're supposed to be done.
Oh, that part's wild. I think, from my understanding, right, Birdie's like 20, and they just said, I don't know how to do the dishes. Ugh, that's bad.
Now suddenly we're saying, I don't know how they're supposed to be done. You can ask people. Nope, sit down, Jack. Jack, sit down. Come back here.
You're just here to yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm literally criticizing you.
Okay, no. Okay, that part I disagree with, right? Queenie, how do you say the fucking name? Pause for a second. I'm gonna die. How do you say their actual name? Yeah, Queen, sorry, that was it. Queen, like, you can tell very clearly, like, they went there to just chew them out. Maybe it gets better later at the end, but like right now, like, it literally goes from, like, them talking for like 20 minutes. Meanwhile, Birdie has no time to respond. It's wild. Again, if you want like a productive conversation, come to them with the 5 biggest issues and lay it out, and then talk it out from there. Like come to a good middle ground for each and every single point. Don't just like lay it out there, for nothing to happen.
You're using your excuses again. You said you want to change. You said you want me to be honest. I am being honest. If you want to say that you changed, go sit down.
I just don't want you to talk back. Just go through the list.
Okay.
And afterwards.
I feel like stuff like this, between friends or ex-friends, right? It's very hard to work it out. But like, I promise you, you'll get more done by being patient and just talking with them.
Sorry.
Like, if you believe yourself to be rational, right? Like, give the other party a chance to speak, which, for the first 40 minutes, they are not doing at all.
Good. You apologize to and me, and you throw under the bus for the same things, kind of like that. We already went over that on the thing. You say agree to disagree. Why are we agreeing to disagreeing? That's not agreeing to disagreeing, because you're just constantly saying things when we have receipts of you knowing that you should have done this. Stuff like that. I told you in November 2nd that, hey, she's not going to want to move back in. That, hey, she probably won't do that kind of thing. You say that we can't read minds. You can't read our minds either. That's why we know. And yet, you're trying. That's hypocrisy right there. And then about your racist past. I understand you say that you're doing the racist stuff, but you never told us you said the N-word, hard R. That you...
What?
Like this is like a real roller coaster, right? Like it seems like, I think in my mind, right, the real big issue that I liked was them confronting them on their unclean habits of not cleaning the kitchen. Like, being racist, that's fucked up, right? But like, if you want to get better as a person, and be more healthy and deal with your POTS and your mental condition, to please take care of your kitchen. Like it's like fucking Jordan Peterson, go clean your bedroom and you feel better. But now like they went from that, to allegedly throwing their friends under the bus, and now the race is past.
I did tell you though.
Told me, I forgot about it, but you never told about this.
I
Especially.
tell them. I told.
Well, I don't remember that, so my bad.
That's well, like this person, Queen, they have a really bad memory. So like even though Birdie like barely fights back, the parts where they do respond, the Queen's like, I'm not really sure, so whatever.
We're in the room.
My bad. That was my fault. Then you flat out lied for a lot of things. You said that you lied about.
Oh, that's what. Please keep your conversation very short, right? Because how do you bring like evidence for all these points? Like you're saying this, and this, right? And with someone like me, someone unacquainted like me, right? Then I'm sure you believe it, because all I have is just audio of this, no actual like visual proof. Again, like, once again, like it's just like an hour and a half long call or conversation with just like one still image. That's it.
About paying rent the whole time with Sydney when there were some spots that you didn't pay rent, and then you said that Sydney would be helpless without you for that kind of stuff, and yet she's not being helpless. She's trying her best, but I know Sydney's bad. I'm not saying that she's not horrible just because I'm pointing out some good about her. Does not mean she's not bad. There's gray in things. Speaking of the gray, you tell us that you're gray. The world is gray. The world is not black and white.
So now we're talking about like Birdie's perception of the world and how it's grey, and Queen's pissed off about that because everyone's a hard time, whatever.
Because you say just because someone gets onto you, just like how you walked out, this is grey.
Like if I go to my old friend's house, right? Like they're living in fucking squalor with dishes everywhere. I would bring that up first, not mention their I would talk about their nihilistic perception, but first I'd go after like the big points. Such as, them not cleaning the fucking house.
Not yelling at you. I'm genuinely not. I'm telling you criticism.
I promise you, if there's an order to get better, it starts from me, like, you clean your environment, like your kitchen and your bedroom, and then, all the other shit, getting better with your mental health. It starts from there.
But the fact that you're thinking that I'm yelling at you shows that you're not taking this really seriously.
I'm listening.
Are you taking me seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're being like, I take this seriously, and it's like, yeah, I'm trying to. I don't blame them, because once again, right, they're sitting down for like an hour and a half, just being chewed out. Again, just keep it short and concise. Then it would be more productive.
And then you told that you did not have money for rent while your 10K was in the bank. You told her, because we sent you to, we made sure that...
I couldn't get all the cash because the ATM had a limit, and then I gave her the rest of it through PayPal.
That's what you told me. But at first you told her that you didn't have the money, which is why she bought you food and stuff like that.
The GoFundMe money didn't go through.
We made sure that you had the GoFundMe money before you go into it.
It didn't go through right away. It took a while.
Then why did you lie to us about having the GoFundMe money?
I didn't. I said it was...
Okay, that part sounds like a crazy story by itself. The GoFundMe thing, I have no idea about that, so no comment.
You're lucky you're dealing with me. I don't remember shit.
Okay, so they bring an example of a bad behavior from Birdie, and they're like, okay, I don't remember. Fine, whatever. I'll concede.
It's okay.
And then you are being a slob, but you're saying that you're clean. With the Cinia house and stuff like that, you have your clothes on the floor and stuff like that. And the blender, you talk smack about Cinia for having the blender. All you gotta do, run the water, stick it underneath the water, dump it out. Run the water, stick underneath the water, dump it out. Not because of your pots, no nothing. Simple, easy, done. Speaking of your pots, you're not eating enough, you're not being healthy. That's why your pots is bad. That's your fault. So you stick it underwater, leave it out, and then confront Cindy later, being like, hey, I washed this for you, for that kind of stuff.
I mean, in my opinion, like I would compartmentalize, right, the shoe points about them living in squalor and all the clothes on the floor, with also that part about them not cleaning the dishes and ergo not eating enough,
Please do it, and then you move on from that. You don't hold grudges, no nothing. For those kind of mini things. And then speaking of the food in your house, you told the whole group chat that you didn't have food in your house. Let me go check this fridge right here, right now. You have food right here, right there, everywhere. There's food right here, there's food right here. You can most easily get food right there, and yet you complain to us. You had Laurel buy you food, Uber you food. That's just many.
Okay, I think that's a really good point from Queen against Birdie. Guys, okay, pause. Guys, if you want to get better as a person, improve your mental health, please stop buying fast food or like Uber Eats. That shit's not good for you, and furthermore, it drains your bank account so much. Again, I think like both these people are very young at 20, just like me. So like in this very important stage of their life, they're blowing money on Uber Eats. Please never buy that.
Manipulation there, that's just lying. Continuing on, you rely on a lot of things for POTS to avoid doing things, like I said, cleaning things or doing stuff. I know you can. I know it's hard for you, but you can manage it. With doing the doctors, you have 10K. You can easily ask me before this all happened to go to the doctors and stuff like that. The fact that I have to tell you to do things like, oh, you need to go to your doctor's appointment, or oh, you need to like, maybe figure out your POTS, and then sometimes you ignore me, and then sometimes you're like, oh, maybe we should do this another day or something like that. Or
yeah, it seems like that's also a very important point on how they missed the doctor's appointment and therapy sessions. That's very fucked. But like, if I went to my friend's house, I'll bring that up first and foremost, because that sounds way more important than like the racist past. I'm not forgiving it, right? But if I want the best for them and be completely good faith, I'll bring that up first.
then you fall asleep on appointments. Literally, I literally knocked on the door multiple times for your one appointment with your therapist, because she said she was going to be a temporary therapist, and then she called me saying, hey,
I feel so more bad for this person, Birdie, because how fucked do you have to be to miss your own like doctor appointments and fall asleep past them? That's insane.
By the way, I was like, he fell asleep. He didn't wake up. I told you literally the night before, do you have a therapist? And then you say, oh, alarm clocks don't work because you're a night sleeper, but yet you put on an alarm clock for that one really important doctor's appointment. Seems like you're prioritizing some differently, but that's different. You also omit a lot of things. You tell me I'm omitting a lot of things. You don't realize you're omitting a lot of things to myself. I can handle omitting things. I can handle it. You, on the other hand, can't handle it. You say, I can't handle it. The fact that you just tried walking up right now and said I was yelling at you proves my point and proves you wrong. You were wrong about saying
pause. But that's ridiculous. So Birdie, by Birdie standing up, right, for a small second, that's proven them trying to like run away from you. No, like maybe they want to respond.
Able to handle this.
Yeah, like if you want to call this a confrontation, you need time for the other person, the antagonist, whatever. You have to give them time to respond, because otherwise it's a venting session.
And you're not. Anyway, continuing on. You take a mile instead of an inch. I understand that you're in a very unfortunate situations while we're trying to help you, but you start whittling us down by saying we're not helping you, and then start lying about things, and then your lies start surfacing back up again. And speaking of your lies, your internet drama and stuff like that, it's not drama, it's pure criticism. You've been victim blaming everyone without talking about yourself. You've been saying this person did this, and then you don't talk about what you've done. You had the police called on you multiple times, and then you barely...
That's true, actually. They had the police called on them?
Said what you've done there, what you've done to basically kind of deserve that kind of police call thing, or why did that happen? But you go, oh, my mom just hates me or something like that, when we find out, oh, you've been violent to people. Anyway.
Okay.
You victim complex thing. You say that you have to be the victim in every situation possible, and then with how in the apartment and how she left, you literally tried killing yourself over stairs. The same thing with and stuff like that. I know you're not blaming it, but that's just extremely things. No one can come back. I know you.
Okay, like when you bring when you allege someone, or faking suicide, right? I want to hear their side of the story, because otherwise, you might be like making it up, and they had a ulterior reason for that, or they were like in a very bad state potentially. I feel like
you said that you understand why Jade left, but then you hold a grudge. You say that you understand, but you keep holding a grudge, holding it above his head. Be like, oh, you abandoned me for the apartment, by the way. She did this. She dipped on me. You told me she dipped on me when she did not. She told me she was going to take a break from you.
Pause. Bear in mind, I'm playing at like 1.25 speed, and this person, Queen, is just going off against them.
Speaking of taking breaks, she said...
Like fucking full power, gear 6.
That she ghosted her. She ghosted you. Literally, the last thing she sent was something of you, and then, like, before you sent her something, she sent something, and then you left her, and then you texted her, and then she texted back something, and then you said, like, okay, I don't quite remember that, but I can probably have to pull it up or something. She's not here currently, but still.
That's what, if you're making a point, right, and you need a friend to back you up, then just have like a Discord call, or like do it online, like with a Google Doc or whatever, privately. That'd be way better. Then coming to like their own domain, coming like half-assed with not that much evidence.
But still, you lied to us about that kind of stuff. You tried making yourself the victim and kind of things, and then you kicked us out when you said you could handle it. When you went to the Band-Aid strip up, you kicked us out of the group chat. And then with the Draghi situation, you said he's sadistic and loves attention. He's 17. That That kid is 17. You're 20. 20. You just turned 20.
That's what apparently like Birdie called a 17-year-old sadistic. Meanwhile, they're 20. Whatever.
I understand. You just left your 19s. You just left your teens. I understand.
I guess the point is like, like don't start beef with kids. But like it's only like a 3-year gap. They're still like, nearly the same person.
But I'm owning up for my mistakes. I understand how I handled the Cindy situation and how I was immature for all that stuff.
Okay. And also, like, pause for a second. Like, imagine being like Birdie right now. How the fuck would you respond to this? You're being like fucking blasted in the face for like all these different reasons, and you have like no response at all. Like, imagine like going on for like an hour, and you're like, holy fuck, I have no response at all. Like, you want me to respond to like 20 things all in one sentence? I just can't. It's
understand,
impossible.
and that's why I was in the wrong for that kind of stuff. How I handled Cindy, how we all handled Cindy's situation. For God's sake, with the cat, you lied to your audience, basically, that Cindy took the cat. Even if you said, oh, I thought she was, you didn't try to clarify it. Within the same night, I texted you saying, hey, by the way, here's the plan here. If you give me full ownership of the cat, I can take care of it and stuff like that. And you did. And then you didn't try to respond to your audience about that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to...
I would say, however, fuck you. I would say, however, right? From my understanding, right, it seemed that a queen took in Birdie's cat because they would, chew unstable, try to take proper care of it. I think that's nice. I'm not sure, who to believe more, being a more stable person. But I feel like a queen might be a tiny bit more.
The circle around the elephant in the big room. Speaking of being a slob, speaking of all this...
Like, it seems like, in this call, in this confrontation, like, Queen seems very, agitated against them. But, like, if Birdie has, like, an unclean home, yeah, I think the cat deserves a better place, I feel like.
You can't take care of yourself. You can't... You say that you try to do it, and yet here you are trying so hard not to get an Uber, trying so hard not to go to your doctor's appointment, trying so hard not to eat food normally. How are you going to take care of a cat? I know you said...
Yeah, I have no idea about a queen's situation with their health, but like if someone can take care of themselves, right, they probably can take care of the cat. I'm sorry.
Can't take care of a cat, which is why I'm taking care of the cat. But I generally don't think...
I'm pretty sure Birdie gave it to them, with the full consent. So that's fine, really, I feel like.
Go back to you. I generally don't think. Sydney's giving me full ownership of the cat. She thought the cat was going back to you as well. But now she's realizing that, hey, maybe the cat shouldn't go back to you as well. So I generally don't think the cat should go back to you as well. Generally don't think. But anyway, continuing on, because there's so much more. And then your own family having, like I said, back to the cops because you assaulted your siblings, including the 7-year-old.
I had no idea about this. Holy shit.
You said that, not said, but you have that past history of doing that. And there's so much as well. Because then you go your trauma competition. You say about the medical condition, you tried one-upping her for that. I remember that. And it's not worse than yours. Literally, it has a rare disease. You have POTS and BPD, all which can be managed. You just don't try to make it manageable. And then because you're also making it worse, you're not eating normally. You skip days. You tell us, oh, when we say we don't have money, you go, oh, I guess I'll starve. Jay literally paid for your food for one day.
It feels like it's going back and forth, like, like it feels like there's like one big issue with, with their condition with POTS, but like it's over, having like a good 10-minute long section about that. It keeps on getting like cut up and put in different parts about, them beating up the siblings.
And I was like saying, hey, I don't have money, which I did not have money then. And then so pay for your food because you're like, I can't.
Like this confrontation feels like more like a hit piece, like more like, an expose on a Birdie, more so than like a good faith confrontation on how to get better.
Go starving then. That's just guilt tripping, either intentionally or unintentionally. That's just still guilt tripping. You should know that by now because people have guilt tripping for you before. You said people have done these horrible things to you. Why are you doing these horrible things to us now? Speaking of, you think your life is generally cursed because you are not one.
Okay, how far we... Pause. We're in... How deep are we in real quick? Pause that. Zoom in. We're 60 minutes in and Birdie has said nothing at all. Nothing.
100% cater to. That's what we're feeling like. As soon as something little goes wrong, you just start basically going downwards, basically. The fact, like I said, the fact that you walked up shows that you haven't grown, haven't changed. I'm grateful you're sitting down right now, but there's just so much that's been going on. And there's just a lot, like I said, that's been going on. And not everything has to be 100% catered toward. I gave you resources to do things. I gave you opportunity, new other things. You have 10K. You can use it. This is an emergency. Use your money. Don't be afraid to dip into it. I understand you have trauma and stuff like that, but you just got to try. You haven't tried and said, just take advantage of us. Or you go, oh, I guess I'll just miss my doctor's appointment. And I tell you, if I tell you on December 16th, I can't.
Yeah, it seems more more like, their issues with Birdie is mostly, just being lazy and having no money. Which I feel like, if I were in their shoes, I'm much rather like be like, having like, I'm much rather be lazy than, have no money. Because when you have no money, you're fucked in every regard.
Drive you to your doctor's appointment. I'm betting you're going to say, oh, I guess I won't go to my doctor's appointment then, instead of trying to do something about it. Instead of trying to go, oh, I guess I'll get an Uber or something like that, because you've used those kinds of things before. You've used those kinds of things with the food and stuff like that. You go, oh, I guess I won't eat then. Yeah, you should eat. That's priority. You tell us that you've been hungry your whole life. You should know what it is.
And now it's for the 10th time, going and running, right? They've bring up the pot saying and how they barely eat.
Means to be.
And how, by them eating, they'll get much better.
Full. Eat more, that kind of thing.
Eat.
That you're not doing that you're sinking yourself in a pit by your own thing. Self-fulfilling prophecy. You say we're not helping you. You say that you're in a bad spot. You say you're doing this. You're focusing on the negative so much, and it's dragging you down. It's the mindset. You're a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that is not a good thing. Continuing on, you say that we never help enough, and thinks we need to do everything for you and stuff like that.
Well, I feel like, I want to say real quick, I feel like this person, Queen, is the same kind of friend, right? Where they would dump on you for like an hour, and then if you forget one minor thing, they call you gaslighting, and they get really angry at you when you're like, okay, I heard you talk for like an hour. I remember everything.
Literally me to a trust for 3 days, and then I drove you to appointments. I don't know if he drove you around, but he drove you around a lot. And then I know they paid for food. I never did, but still paid for your food. And then sometimes you got to get medicine. I think pretty sure ask you for $50 back for something like, you're like, yeah, I will do it, and you never did. And then with the prosecutor calls, we had to drive you places for the prosecutor. And then when you said, oh, I guess I won't do it for like Cynthia stuff, you go, oh, I guess I just won't do it or something. I don't know, it's too much for you. That's what you kind of made it seem like in my mind. The fact that I'm remembering, because I don't remember specific things, I just remember how I feel or others feel about that situation. You just were like, no, I'm tired of this, which understandable and fair. But still, if it's that important.
Fail.
I'm keeping your cat. Literally, I'm helping you, but I don't know if I'm going to give you your cat back. We'll see. And then, probably thought though.
I'm homeless. Well, not homeless. I'm staying here.
Okay, finally, how deep are we in? Let me check. Fine. After 20 minutes, they can speak now.
Even when you move.
I'm not saying I'm going to take her when I go back.
You have the expectancy you'll ever get her back. That's what I'm meaning.
I mean, not really. It's like 50-50 for me.
I'm gonna go slam my head.
Not because of like, sorry, I have brain fog all day. Go ahead. You can.
Bro, they're saying like right now, oh, I have brain fog, and I don't blame them. Imagine sitting there for like 20 minutes, and you're being dumped on of like all the biggest flaw of your character throughout your entire life. I'd also be fucking, tired and confused.
Yeah, no worries. Big worries.
I think better, again, I would prefer like a nice text conversation over this, right? Because then at least, they could go back and infer, some points rather than being like, okay, you said this before, but I can't remember exactly what you said.
I helped you move away from Cynthia. I'm starting to regret moving you from Cynthia because I feel like that could have been handled more privately, more professionally. I feel like that's why I feel like I should have just kind of left you there. Not left you, should have checked up on you, which is what I did. I did check up on you. Why do you think you're here now away from Cynthia? I'm glad you're away from Cynthia.
Okay, so a few minutes ago, right? Like 1 minute ago, they brought up like how Birdie interrupted to be like, oh, you got this wrong about my cat. And now Queen is like not contesting that, and they keep on moving forward to the next point.
But your actions
This is not how you solve shit, I'm gonna be honest.
are not being profitable. You're not helping yourself. You need to help yourself. We can't help someone who does not want help. We can't do everything for you like Cynthia has been doing everything for you. I have issues with her for that too as well.
Okay, this part, I agree with them, right? If someone doesn't want help, you can't help them. So it sounds like, they're being good faith, but like they're venting everything wrong about them, like insanely so.
Babying you. And even then, before this whole situation, you were acting basically the same thing with your grandma and your grandpa. Because literally your grandma said, in the I'm Back video, she said, you're burning your bridges. Basically said things that I would say, and you made her out to be the villain. I'm probably going to be the villain in your life because you think I am when I'm genuinely giving you criticisms. Any criticism thrown your way, you think, oh, she's a bad person, or they're a bad person, he's a bad person. You're thinking Jade's a bad person. You're thinking Cass is a bad person. You're 100% thinking I'm a bad person as well, probably. I don't even want to think of it. But yeah, you probably do right now, or even forever now, if you ever do change, because you said you changed, but you didn't. Like I said, you don't do anything for yourself, because I keep jumping around, god damn it. Like I said, You rely heavily on everyone else. While you said you want to be independent, you told us multiple times you want to be independent, and I've given you choices to let you be independent. I say, okay, take an Uber, go do this, maybe do this. I gave you resources, and you're still not helping.
Again, I'm not surprised if like Birdie out of nowhere gets angry at them because like, they keep on saying over and over, oh, I helped you out, non-stop.
Yourself.
I'm sure they did right, but I feel like Birdie has their own thoughts about their quote-unquote help.
Oh, you're instead laughing in your room, doing nothing. I know it's nighttime right now, but you could have done something all day. You could have done something yesterday. You could have done something the days before, or something like that. You could have done something. You just kept sitting in your room doing nothing. And then I already talked about the waking up.
I mean, like right now we have like two severe issues going on. Number one, the laziness, the sloth. That's fair, whatever. But also the litigating like family drama with them on how the grandma, and everybody else is burning bridges with them. Holy shit, dude.
The time for the appointments that you need. You sometimes don't set up reminders. I know I said I was going to set up a reminder, but the fact that you didn't set up.
I can't really comment on the family drama because I barely understand it fully. But like I promise you, right, this product is not the best for the internet because we don't get the full picture.
Reminder yourself kind of worries me as well. I know I should have said, oh, we'll set it for you. But usually the typical thing.
Imagine being Birdie, right? Like, in your head you'd be like, okay, so is your issue with me, my laziness, or my family drama, or both? Because if it's both, we're gonna be here forever talking about it.
Oh, I should set this myself, or oh, I'll keep this as a mental thing, and stuff like that. Even when I dropped you off to the appointment, I found myself typing down what your appointment was instead of you writing it down yourself. I said, oh, maybe you should write it down.
I have it on the card.
Good.
The card's in my room.
Good. You just didn't show me that.
I told you I have the card.
The card, did it have December 16th on it?
Yeah, it just didn't have the other one for some reason.
You didn't tell me it had December 16th. I found out December 16th was a complete surprise to me.
I did. I said that I still had the other one written down, but not the December 3rd. Was it the 3rd? The December 3rd one. I did specify that.
Let me see. Hold on. I gotta pull that up. I might be crazy.
At least I said there's another December appointment on it.
So even the points that Buddy can respond to, like when they get contested, like, okay, maybe I was wrong.
Or something like that.
I think I did. Well, okay. Jeez. Let's see. Okay, let me see.
Also, I love how.
Oh yeah, you told.
Shut up. The thing we're stopping the conversation for is this one random detail about like a car, a date. Holy shit,
dude.
Dude.
On 11/29, you're not at a place where you could afford to do that. You have 10K. Why'd you tell me that?
And now they just move past that. Okay, awesome, great, awesome.
Let's see. Dramatic. You say I'm not mad. I'm just being dramatic. You are mad at me. And then you kind of ignored me. Well, you wasn't mad, but it's hard to probably discern. You should be mad or something. That's the thing. You don't take things seriously. I don't even know if you're taking myself seriously as well, or if you're taking me seriously. Huh?
I'm listening.
You're listening, but is that the same as being serious about this? Are you going to change?
Again, it's probably hard to be serious about this because you're fucking berating them non-stop.
Because I said this, I'm putting in the effort to help you change, to realize things. If someone told me,
Again, like, I'm sure, like, a queen really hates Birdie, whatever, but, like, if you want to have, like, a good confrontation, just dump all the hate you have and, be very diplomatic.
A lot of hate bombs for interacting with you.
I can't say much because, number one, I don't know the full drama. And second of all, I'm not queen themselves.
And then I realized why I was doing it. And I changed and grown as a person. And that's why I'm confronting you on now, these types of things. Because you need these things. But are you going to change? Who freaking knows? We don't know. I don't know.
And again, if you like freak out when you're talking, like, I don't know, then like having conversation, face to face, is probably like not the best way to solve this. I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have done that. This is a serious situation, but still, let's keep seeing. Oh, speaking of your phone, you told me lost it. Told me he didn't lose it. He even showed me the screenshots of him saying, I'll check and look. Why'd you say that lost it? Why are you planning blame on this is your phone, that's your responsibility? You should have said, I lost it. I probably is at house or your car or something like that. Instead, you pointed to saying, he lost it, he did it, blah, blah, blah. That's not omitting responsibility, something minor. But still, there's a lot of minor things that lead to one major things. You should have said, I lost it. Still, let's keep seeing. Also, you don't want to try to even get a new phone. You just say, it's complicated, don't want to do it, instead of trying.
Okay, that part I agree with, right? If you have 10K in your account, buy a new fucking phone, buy a new iPhone, bro.
Oh, you could have said, at least, hey, could you help me at least get a phone? I understand I'm complaining about how much I'm helping you and stuff like that, but this is to the point. Maybe you should have asked me, hey, I can help. I know I promised you I can help.
Like, this is so wild, right? You want to, like, bring up, like, their laziness and family drama, but then, like, your point after that is, like, how they're being lazy to, like, buy a phone.
You never said
It's probably like being an example, right? Like, I feel like just keep the examples, the anecdotes short and concise.
Specific time or date to be like, hey, could you come here and help me or something like that? Instead we do other things and you rely on me going, okay, let's help you. Or when I sit down and do it, you start like saying, okay, it's tiring, and then we do other things as well. Stuff like that. Or you should have just gotten a new phone. And then let's see. No, we just started talking about the phone. You never told me that you had a December appointment. You just say, they didn't even write that date on the card to begin with, not saying that you had a December appointment at all. And so I was like, okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure I said it in person at least. I know that I did mention it.
You mentioned it after the hospital. You thought, like, after the whole thing came out, you're like, oh yeah, I had a second appointment going on. I was like, what the fuck? When did that happen? But then, yeah, going back to my whole thing, I personally think you scam people out of 10K. I personally think you did scam people out of 10K.
Okay. Again, if I knew the full story, I would ponder about that. But like for someone like me coming fresh into this with this call, I have no idea if I can believe that at all. Because therefore, I'll play in a second. Birdie's gonna have like no response, and also furthermore, I'm gonna have like no visual aid on screen to back that up. Like, I'll pause the game real quick. Pause. Let me see if they show any evidence on screen.
10K. You didn't need to ask for that much if you're not going to use it. Why you ask for 10K if you're not going to use that 10K? This is emergency, like you said. You can use that 10K. Go get your POTS diagnosed. Go get a therapist. Go take Ubers to places and stuff like that. When I'm busy, you know how busy I am. You kept pointing out how busy I am, holding it up on my head. I'm busy and I can't drop things off the top.
Yeah, so no response from Birdie about that. God damn it. I would say, however, right, if Queen is like driving Birdie to places, I respect that actually. Any friend like that takes you to places like a doctor or therapist and they drive you everywhere, God bless them. It's a good friend. I'm not sure if they're a good friend, but that action by itself is a good friend behavior.
Of course I'm going to be doing that. You're not busy on the other end. You're laughing in your room, doing nothing or sleeping all day. You can easily go get an Uber and do that. You say your phone's not working, go get a new phone then. If you can't find your phone, we're trying our best to find it. And I say, oh, I literally can't find it. I haven't told you
Is the phone broken or they can't find it?
I haven't found it in my car yet, but still, that's my mom calling. God dang it, Mom!
Wait, go back. What the fuck was that?
I told you I haven't found it in my car yet, but still, that's my mom calling. God dang it, Mom!
Okay, well, whatever the hell that was.
Speaking of it, hold on, let me text her. You also made pay for money while you had money, and you already, like I pointed out, had food, which I already pointed that out.
I'm sorry, pause the game for a second, pause the game. Bro, we moved like through so many points that it's fucking impossible to keep up. So it went from the dishes, to the pots, to the family, to the phone, to the Uber, to them driving everywhere, to the doctor, to the therapist. It's just like point after point after point after point. It's crazy.
You complained about the nurses about limiting your meds. You're suicidal. Of course they're going to limit your meds. Be self-aware. I tell you to be self-aware. You're not being self-aware. You said I was in the past. What made you change? Being self-aware does not stop being self-aware. You told a lot of us that you would do it again, your suicide. You gave a mental breakdown and then you continue to blame her. You probably still blame her. You say that ghosted has dipped on you when she didn't. You could have easily texted her back or something and said you didn't confront her on ghosting part. You didn't even confirm with her if you ghosted. I seen the text. It's literally the last thing you said. Why would Jay need to text you back, especially with the group chat going on? And said you can just go into the DMs and be like, hey, how are you doing? You ask us to check up on you. You don't check up on us. You have a lot of suicide bait, like just what I'm talking about.
Oh, wait, what? Pause. I did bring up suicide bait? Okay, this part's fucking big, actually. Holy fuck.
You talk crap about Jay to us.
Like if you're a friend that is, very mentally unstable, and you say that they're, suicide baiting, that's a fucking wild claim. I want to see that backed up.
Us. Her best, like literally her besties, basically. And then you publicize your attempts for Twitter. Why? Why are you publicizing it? People screenshotted it. I know you did. While you were almost about to kill yourself over the stairs, you were tapping happily on Twitter.
Also, if you hear closer, right, you can hear them like slowly losing their voice over this.
We're happily going on Twitter.
Because that's what happens when you fucking choose someone out for like over 30 minutes already.
You were pissed at you for that as well. And then the fact that I had to stop you, I was sitting right on the bed. You were on the
Wait, so they were stalking them?
The ground, pouring the pills out in front of me. You tried like taking a photo, and I was like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "Nothing. Don't worry about it." Something like that. And then you tried posting it on Twitter. Why do you think that's fine to your audience of 15-year-olds, 16, 17, minors? There's minors on your public account, and that you just blast it all out. Don't blame your PPD on this. PPD only makes you more willing to do something where you don't have a lot of willingness to hold yourself in. You act on your impulses, basically. And
I get that part. I agree with that, yeah, fair enough.
that means you've always wanted to do that. That basically kind of shows that you wanted to do that. I've told you about things that you shouldn't do, and then you grumpily sit off still, and I basically had to fight for you for that kind of thing. And then you told me you think of suicide 24/7. That's why we're not going to tell you things. Otherwise, you're going to dump out pills, stuff like that, which is why we're telling you things now, because you're not dumping out pills right now. But I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. We'll see what happens afterwards. If it's going to make you so bad you're going to kill yourself or something.
I mean, for the record, I do agree with some of this.
Oh, shit, hold on. They spoke.
Like,
So?
there are some that, like...
Go back.
I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. We'll see what happens afterwards. If it's going to make you so bad you're going to kill yourself or something.
I mean, for the record, I do agree with some of this. Like,
So?
there are some that, like, you weren't there for the context.
Oh my god, you know, I don't dislike that response because it makes perfect sense. Like, you know, like them just saying, oh, there were some parts you missed the context for. That's what happens, right? When, you know, you bring up several fucking points impromptu over and over and over.
Like how you keep victimizing everyone on your YouTube video and everything. You don't say anything about, I watched your On Back video. I'm still halfway done because I was literally genuinely so frustrated. I have 3 hours of recording about that because I was like, I'm going to record this to see my reaction. 3 hours, 4 hours, I think, 3 to 4 hours with just, oh, I'm going to go, and we're only an hour in. 4 hours to an hour in. We were fed up with you. Me decided to watch your I'm Back video, and we were fed up with how much you've just been pushing everything aside, victim blaming, and not taking responsibility. You're blaming Draggy, who's a 13-year-old. Going back to Draggy again, because there's more. You don't admit to it. Instead, you're calling Draggy a...
I started writing something for myself where I admit that I was wrong in that situation.
Oh, you didn't tell us this. How were we supposed to know? We can't read minds. I started
and
yesterday.
I didn't think you would care because you're mad at me.
Do you want to... I'm telling you why I'm mad at you.
Yeah, so I didn't think you would care if I did something like that.
Then why didn't you take things seriously then? Why didn't you tell me things? I thought you were trying not to hide things from us or something like that. You see how your actions are affecting us as well? You use those exact same excuses. You're in the same boat as we are, and you're not understanding things. Instead, you're getting pissed. I understand why you're keeping those things from me, because I am mad. I am. I'm not going to hold that above your head. Maybe I will. We'll see about that. Speaking of honest.
And now, Judy, at the next point. Awesome.
See? You're using the same excuses I use as well. Yeah, and I'm admitting to some of those excuses, but because I'm mad.
Oh shit. Do we have a hypocrite? Fuck, god, that got hit.
You're not showing me things for something like that because you're mad. Yesterday. Yes. You should have noticed that basically the start. Draggy was 13. You were 16. That's worse than an age gap than Kitty Dog. And you know that, and you blame Kitty Dog for it and everything. What Kitty Dog did was horrible and stuff like that.
Oh, horrible.
You don't tell us.
Okay, I don't make fun of the voice crack, but like, bro, I'm fucking like, how deep am I in? Let me check. I'm in 30 minutes. I'm sorry, I have to laugh at that. I'm sorry.
To go after her and stuff like that. Instead, you're telling us to go after the 13-year-old, and that the 13-year-old had a grooming thing, that you would think you were manipulated by the 13-year-old. Anyway, I'm glad if you're going to start changing now. I'm really glad that you are changing, but I'm too mad to realize that right now. So okay. I'm going to say that I am glad that you're admitting, because better late than never, I suppose. But you've hurt so many people in the processes of being okay.
I've been coming to terms with that as well.
Yeah, you should. Speaking of responsibility, which you said you're taking responsibility for Draggy's fault. We'll see how that goes with your new video, if you're posting that out, whenever you can.
I'm still mulling it over, I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
Because I need to, like, never mind, sorry, my brain felt like I can't think today.
Okay. Don't blame that.
Oh, that's well, right. If you have like a good productive conversation or like a debate, please do it on text, right? Because, you know, if someone's tired, they probably can't, like, you know, like form the thought properly. But if you do by text, you know, they have as much time as they want, you know, making the response, and like just like reading it back through and through. That'd be much better.
And then.
And bear in mind, I think so. You've got Birdie being very tired right now. And you've also got Queen, who I think said in the beginning that they were sick and they have a sore throat. What a great setup for both these people. I don't fucking need this. I have full ammo.
Speaking of nudes, you have child porn. Do you
Oh, there we go. The fucking left field bullet. Here we go.
you have child porn?
What are you talking about?
When you were younger, people sent you nudes? You sent people's nudes, stuff like that, from what I've heard.
We were the same ages, and I didn't save any of them. They actually saved them and posted them on Kiwi Farms and stuff.
I don't even know what Kiwi Farms is.
We were both like, me and that person were both like 15. I never saved any of them. I actually deleted all of mine as soon as we broke up, but they saved all of them.
Okay.
I wouldn't do something like that now. I was 15.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, I know. Right now. But still.
So I have no idea about that, right?
You got mad at me. You blamed me.
And it just moved past that all. So again, like, if you want to confront them, fine, whatever, but like, please come backed up with all the evidence you need. Because when fucking Birdie refutes it, they stand and be like, well, fine, whatever. But next point, like, no, I want to hear more about that.
Me for missing your
Like, like my biggest issue with this, it's not like who's right and who's wrong. It's more so how messy this is overall.
appointment one, like last week when I completely forgot about it, which was, yes, my fault. I will admit to that, stuff like that. But you got mad saying, why didn't you wake me up? When, yeah, you should have also known that was your appointment because we literally have that down as well.
And now it's like a fucking snake eating a snake. We move back and forth on the appointment thing so much that it's getting sickening.
And stuff like that. You should have had that written down as well and said you missed it. I think I even told you the night before, hey, you got an important appointment the night before, and then you completely forgot about that. You said you wanted to be independent. Yeah. You told us you can't interact with fan art for like that 15-year-old, stuff like that. I know a lot of people draw fan art of you and stuff like that. But as soon as you found out that kid was 15, instead of owning up to it, saying that was my fault, I should not have looked at it, you said gut went. Stop making this weird. I didn't privately DM them.
Right there.
Yeah.
There are a few misunderstandings with that, and I do still that was a big mistake that I made reacting so defensively, which is why I decided to take a break from social media and why I'm continuing to do that, because I realized I'm not stable enough to run a public account at the place that I'm at mentally right now, and I realized that I was getting defensive at this person, and I still did not check their profile. I thought they were I assumed that they were 16 or 17, because I'm like, yeah, my audience is 16 plus.
But even then,
Okay, that point sounds decent actually from
that
Birdie.
kind of thing, that's an 18 plus thing. Self-harm, that's a thing, that's an 18. Did you just say I didn't know?
Yeah. I only found out until I saw posts about it on Twitter. And then I realized I fucked up because I didn't even check it. I was getting all defensive over something really stupid, and I did make a mistake, and I should have checked their profile because they were obsessively making fan art of me, and I didn't think, oh, this is weird. I was just like, oh, it's fan art, I have to comment on it.
Fair enough, but I'm talking about how that stuff, how your entire account, some of your really cute art, yeah, definitely should be, but Seth's Deadly Sin characters, which is 100% 18 plus, you admitted it to as well. I remember you also admitting it to me as well, saying that, oh, I should probably make some of these 18. Instead, you drew very extreme, literally almost sex. Just literally, what's his name again? June, groping.
Another thing, I was...
Yeah, this part sounds very iffy about drawing 15 and 16-year-olds on Twitter, making fan art of them, sexual fan art of them. Ugh.
Those characters when I...
I'll make a very comments, because once again, I don't know the full story, and the topics like that are very gross.
That stuff.
Yeah,
No,
very
I'm talking
icky.
about now. This is now recently. This is new Seth. This is new
They're
Juno.
my age. I aged up the character.
But still, I'm talking about your audience who watches those stuffs, looks at those stuffs. You have very sexual things that belong on an 18 plus page. Your My Little Pony, really cute, your derpy stuff, but you post it on there, 100% good. That's good for any ages. But your Seth Deadly Sin characters you posted about, your extremely hypersexual character you've posted about on stuff, bad. No, keep that away from kids at this point, especially with how gray that area. Just make it 18 plus. If you think it's great, making 18.
So it seems like Birdie has a Twitter account where they make art, and sometimes they dabble in sexual stuff sometimes, whatever. I want do they really bait kids into that, or do they have a normal ad account? If someone makes art, and they occasionally make porn, I don't really mind that much. But if they're baiting kids, with a My Little Pony part, My Little Pony art, then I think that would be an issue.
Plus, basically kind of make that black and white separation. 18 plus, that's
I
fine.
do actually think that's a good idea. I don't like having minors in my audience in the first place, so I definitely should just mark everything as 18 plus. I'll have to mull that over though, because that's like, I'm gonna have to worry about that later, because I can't even think about social media right now. I have to focus on other stuff.
Yeah, but people want change now too as well.
There are other things that are priorities right now, like calling the apartment, checking the emails. I don't know what else.
Okay, you know, I don't blame Birdie, right? Because, you know, I would be like, I don't know like the full story behind the Twitter stuff. That sounds bad. But if I was Birdie, yeah, I'd be more worried about, you know, my fucking apartment, the state of my house, if I can pay rent, not some fucking tour drama. I'm sorry.
I haven't been able to think today, but I have been trying to prioritize other things, because I know that if I focused on the internet right now, I would spiral, and I know that I do not need to do that right now.
Then you shouldn't even be on the internet.
What? Wait, pause. What a wild response. So Queen's response, you know, to Birdie not liking drama has been, you know, oh, then don't be in the internet in the first place. Like don't you want them to be like Amish and never use the internet in the first place? What do you mean?
You shouldn't. At that point, just don't be on the internet anymore. Stop being on the internet. Find a job.
Are they just agreeing on the same point? Birdie's saying, like, you know, oh, I don't want to be on the internet. And Queen's like, okay, good. Don't be on the internet.
Get your GED. You have money, 10K to serve you through. Stuff like that. Get your GED or something. It's just because you have disabilities doesn't mean you can't do it. You just don't want to do it. There's a difference. Because there's a lot of people out in the world who have disabilities worse than yours too. I'm not going to say that they're worse. Everyone's worse and stuff like that. It's just that you can do it. You just don't want to. And it's becoming too late. That's the thing. There's sometimes time limits to things. When you start doing things and stuff like that, there's just basically time limits where people just break their psyche. You told me that we're breaking your psyche. You're also breaking all of our psyches because you're doing everything where you just sometimes can't come back from it. This part right here is getting so bad where you just literally can't come back from this. You're basically worse than Cindy. You are.
Okay, what the fuck is this about, you know, them being worse than Cindy?
You are becoming worse than Cindy. You realize too late. Stuff like that for too many things. Even then, I don't know how to believe your words, because you said that gaslighting is fun to me. You said that you can pretend to do things. How can I trust your word? You've lied.
Okay, that sounds pretty bad. Yeah.
Lied to us so many times.
Let me stop you right there with that one too. I only meant in the context of like, I don't think you understood properly, because it's not something that people do like as a joke, but I'll be like, oh yeah, this, did you know that, let me think of an example. Do you know that James Corden was in SpongeBob? That's what I was talking about. I do not try to intentionally lie to people. And I know that I've lied to you, and I'm still processing that. Yesterday, I realized that I'm wrong, and I'm starting to process it. But the process is a process, and I have to, I'm doing one thing at a time, and again, my brain fog today, I can barely form sentences, but like, go ahead.
You were having happily fun on...
Birdie said, you know, oh, I can barely speak today, but it sounded more like a vocal than like Queen.
Discord right there and then. Before any of this happened, I was listening to you laughing off over there. Yeah. I was having fun, which I understand it is okay to laugh off and stuff like that. And I understand it's fine to do that kind of stuff.
With that person the things I've had revelations about.
Yeah, cool. Great. Yeah, but it's becoming too late. You've said all these things to us, and now you're
God, if I was Queen, I would take Birdie to a nice, you know, coffee place and have a nice cappuccino with them.
Just finally realizing the gravity of your situation. Did someone tell you your actions, how bad it was? Why does it take someone else to tell you how bad your actions are sometimes? Which I understand. I should not be making that as a thing, because sometimes it is. Sometimes someone needs to tell you. But the thing is that you've gone through these types of situations before. You should have known better. You've had people manipulate you. You got pissed at the same things that we're getting pissed at you for. And yet here you are making some excuses for some things and stuff like that. And you've even admitted right now that you have lied to me. Of course, I'm not going to take you very seriously for those kinds of stuff. I literally heard you talk about your mom right then and there. But then again, I didn't hear the whole conversation.
Wait.
So.
Oh, we were talking about, like, it wasn't anything serious. It was just, like, my mom talks really weird. She says, like, yo and, like, daddy yo all the time.
Yeah, I remember you said that to me. But still, it's just bad. Because, like, serious conversations need to have serious topics, stuff like that.
That wasn't a serious conversation, though.
You told me that it was a serious conversation. Well, you didn't say
okay. Now we also bring up like a conversation they had, you know, off screen, off camera. Nice, awesome. Okay, I'll stop the video now for this point, and I'll carry on part 2 But yeah, oh my god, I'm in like nearly 40 minutes deep into it, and holy fuck, yeah, it's just a mess. Hopefully in part two of this video, it gets better, because, you know, we have 44 minutes, but like, if it just carries on being like, you know, fucking, Queen, always talking over her, or always talking over them, then like, it should be a mess again. Holy shit, dude.